Hello, my name is Pumpaa Elf, and I have lived in Santa's elf village for 557 years. I have the job of teaching the young elflets to become fully fledged elves. Before they can be let loose on your toys, they have to prove that they are full of Christmas spirit and to be able to do their elf tasks to the best of their elf ability. But today I want to tell you a story of Sprout the elf and how she nearly didn't become a true elf because she didn't believe in the spirit of Christmas. Well, to begin with, at least. It all started when a group of elflets came to the Elf Adventure Challenge Test Centre to take their challenge to become fully fledged elflets. Now, did you know that everyone in Santa's village has a job? So after the elflets pass their adventure challenge, they will be given different jobs in the village. There, of course, is things like toy making and the jobs that Santa needs for Christmas Eve, such as checking the lists, wrapping the presents, stacking the sleigh, and so on. And there is, of course, the smooth running of the elf village. Now, these include things like baking, sorting the mail, and teaching elflets, and making clothes. Just like you, elves have different skills and enjoy different jobs. Now, this particular time, there was one little elflet called Sprout. Now, Sprout had a very determined look about her when she arrived at the Elf Adventure Challenge Test Centre. Now, the challenge master that day was Tiny the elf, who wasn't actually tiny at all, but one of the tallest elves there had ever been. Now, are you sure you are ready for working in the elf village? Tiny asked Sprout. Oh yes, I want to work for Santa. I want to become one of the chief Christmas Eve helpers. The Christmas Eve helpers were some of the most desired jobs in Santa's village. Each year, the most dedicated elves were chosen. Well, let's get you through your adventure challenge to be fully fledged elves then, Tiny told Sprout. Sprout and the rest of the elflets lined up excitedly, ready to be told their first task. Welcome to your adventure challenge, elflets. You will be given 4 tasks for completion today. For each task, I will judge you accordingly. Provided you show commitment and concentration in your tasks, you will pass each one. I will also notice elflets that show extra Christmas spirit in their tasks. At this, Sprout stood tall and stretched her arms in preparation for the first task. Your first task, Tiny told them, is to prove you can sort and stack presents. As you know, this is an important role that every elf will want to do at some point. A wrongly stacked present can result in a child receiving the wrong gift somewhere in the world. You need to sort the pile of presents into the correct chutes according to where in the world they are going. Ready, steady, go! The group of elflets sprang into action, with Sprout first to reach the pile of presents. She was so keen to sort the presents into their different chutes that she ducked and she dived and she raced among the other elflets, not caring if she trod on their toes or knocked their presents. Ow! Cried Tinkle Elf. Sprout, that hurt! You just trod on my foot! And you took the pile of presents that I was just sorting, complained Snips. Sprout carried on, rushing about. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, stop sorting! Let's see how you did. Well done, Sprout. Look at that huge pile of presents you've sorted, Tiny praised. Sprout beamed in delight at the praise and then noticed Tinkle and Snaps huddled angrily in the corner. That wasn't fair for you to be praised when you trod on Tinkle and Snips to do that, whispered Peeps. Sprout felt uncomfortable and looked at her toes. She was only trying to be the best elflet. Now it's time for task 2, Tiny announced. You are going to show how well you can build a toy. You will be given a blueprint for the super-duper nincompoop robot, and you must work together in teams. Ready, steady, go! The elflets hurriedly studied the blueprint and then began to assemble the nuts and bolts to create the super-duper nincompoop robot. Sprout was in a group with Peeps and Eggnog, and Sprout was hogging the box of parts and bolts. "Sprout, please, can I have the box of bolts?" asked Eggnog. No, it's fine. I know where it all goes." Sprout was scrambling around in the box. "Sprout, I think that goes there," suggested Eggnog. "I think that might not fit," chirped in Peeps. "No, I'm sure if we put this here and that there, then it will work," Sprout insisted, continuing to fit the parts of the toy together on her own. "But Sprout, we're meant to be doing this as a team," protested Peeps. "Let me do this, and then we'll be the first to finish." Eggnog and Peeps exchanged frustrated looks. "And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, finished," sang Tiny. "Let's see who's finished and created the best super-duper nincompoop robot." As Tiny approached their table, the toy fell apart all over the floor. Sprout, Peeps and Eggnog were so upset. "I said that bolt didn't go there," grumbled Peeps. "Yes, if you had just let us help, that wouldn't have happened," Eggnog said crossly. Sprout bit her lip. She realised that she should have let them help. "It's okay," Tiny patted Sprout on her shoulder kindly. "As long as you work together as a team, that's the most important thing." Sprout gulped, not daring to look up at Peeps and Eggnog. She felt relieved when Tiny moved them on to their third task. "For task 3, you need to help our magical friends the reindeer. There was a snowstorm last night which resulted in lots of things getting blown into the reindeer food that shouldn't be there. So we need you to take out all the objects that shouldn't be in there. Ready, steady, go!" Now, the elflets started scrambling through the reindeer food bins, tossing out all sorts of objects, including stockings, hats, Christmas decorations, and even squeaky reindeer toys. Sprout raked her hands so quickly through the bin, all the reindeer food sprayed the other elflets in the eye. "Ah!" they cried. "Sprout, be more careful. We can't see what we're doing now." But Sprout was determined to have their biggest pile of objects, and so didn't notice the annoyance she was causing the others. For the 4th task, they had to take part in the Elf March, singing the famous elf song and showing they know all the moves. Now, Sprout pushed to the front to make sure she could be right behind Tiny as they marched. "Sprout, you need to calm down. We all want to be good Christmas elves," cried Tinkle. "Yes, you have hurt, annoyed and upset all of us, one or other in the last tasks," chimed in Snips. Oh, I'm sorry," cried Sprout. "I just want Tiny to see how excited I am about being a true elf." "Yes, but he knows that," said Eggnog kindly. "Remember, he has been around for a few years." 557, to be precise," came Tiny's voice from behind. "They are right, Sprout. Being a good elf is about showing Christmas spirit whether people notice it or not. It's about being good and kind, caring and thinking of others before yourself." Sprout felt ashamed of her behaviour. Of course, Tiny was right. She shouldn't have tried to be noticed for being the best. She should have just tried her best and helped the other elflets to try their best too. "Anyway, we have one special additional task today," boomed Tiny, "and it's a fun one. You will need to use your best elf creativity and decorate a cookie for Santa fit to present to him on Christmas Eve." It was an elf village tradition that on Christmas Eve, as the elves complete their final preparations, Santa is presented with a huge display of creatively decorated cookies. One elf is always chosen by Santa for their most spectacular design, meaning Santa will eat that cookie first to start his energy build-up for the following night's hard work. To be chosen for this is the utmost honour and privilege in the elf village. So for their last task, the elflets had to let their imagination run wild with their cookie designs. They got to work creating colourful patterns using different decorations and brightly coloured icing. There is some fantastic creativity going on here, elflets, cried Tiny enthusiastically. I am going to choose the best one and Santa himself will get to have it with his afternoon tea today. At this, there was a ripple of excitement amongst the elflets. Despite a recent mistake, Sprout desperately wanted her cookie to be presented to Santa. What an honour! She worked hard and did a design so detailed and special it belonged in a window display. Peeps leaned over. Wow, Sprout, that's amazing. You really deserve to have yours chosen for Santa. Sprout, of course, beamed with pride. The elflets got up with their designs. Sprout followed behind Peeps, and they went to place their finished work on the special trolley. But just as Peeps reached the trolley, his foot slipped on some icing. His legs shot from under him, and the tray with his cookie flew up in the air. Sprout didn't even consider what she was about to do. She did what she knew was right in the moment, and tucked her own cookie into her apron pocket and dived to catch Peeps' cookie as it flew through the air, saving it from becoming a spoilt mess on the floor. Sprout handed an astonished and relieved Peeps his cookie in perfect condition as they both got to their feet. As Sprout looked down at her apron pocket, she saw her own cookie was now broken and squashed. Sprout, you saved my cookie. You are the best, kindest elf ever, exclaimed Peeps. Oh, thank you. Tiny came back into the room to judge their designs. But Sprout, where is yours? He asked. I was expecting such great things from you. Oh, I didn't manage to finish it, Sprout shrugged, looking shyly at Peeps. Well, I think it's clear that the best design here is this one by Peeps. And so, Peeps, you will go and present it in person to Santa this afternoon, Tiny boomed. Well, elflets, that concludes your adventure challenge, and I'm delighted to tell you that you have all successfully completed your tasks, and you are now fully fledged elves. Well done! Tiny cheered. Sprout cheered with the other elflets, but she couldn't help feeling disappointed that she hadn't won the chance to present her cookie to Santa. Peeps came up and gave her a big hug. I can't believe you did that for me, Sprout. I know how badly you wanted to give your biscuit to Santa. Thank you. Instantly, Sprout felt a warm feeling rush through her. Doing something nice for someone else and making them happy made her feel so good, much more so than showing off to Tiny. She realised this must be true Christmas spirit. Suddenly Sprout heard a deep voice behind her. So, you now feel the true power of Christmas spirit and how great it is, the voice asked her. Sprout turned and gasped. Right in front of her stood Santa himself. He chuckled. Don't look so surprised. I often come down to congratulate the new elflets, he said. I believe you have a special cookie that you wanted to give me. Oh, I did, said Sprout. But it's not much of a state to be eaten now, she smiled. What you did was much more important, Sprout, Santa said with a big smile, and I am proud of you. At that, Sprout beamed. She couldn't have felt more proud or happy. "We have a special job for you," chuckled Tiny, as he and Santa exchanged the special elf handshake. "Really?" asked Sprout in surprise. "We have a very important role for a newly qualified elf, and I think you, Sprout, will be perfect. That is, if you are interested." "Oh, yes, absolutely," cried Sprout excitedly. "What would you like me to do?" "Well," continued Santa with a twinkle in his eye, "I am sending Pumpaa Elf out into the world to meet children and to teach them what it takes to be an elf and have true Christmas spirit. And I want all children to know the true meaning of Christmas and be full of real Christmas spirit just like you. So, Pumpaa Elf is going to be running the Elf Adventure Challenge for children all over the real world, and we need a good, committed, hard-working, enthusiastic elf to assist him. Would you like to do that?" Oh, yes, laughed Sprout. She was so happy she could almost burst. So, this is how Sprout and I took to the skies of the world to deliver Christmas spirit to children everywhere. Of course, you probably already know the true meaning of Christmas and about looking after others before yourself. And after all, Santa believes in you.